rich, it's a pittance to them. It's a half a shekel, it's a garnished, right? It's like a less than 1% of their income. But the poor, it's going to be maybe 5% of their income. They're going to have to give it up. So it's the reverse of progressive taxation. It's the reverse of that. Judaism does not have room for progressive taxation. It considers it stealing from the rich. Okay? And that's the lesson you learn from this. It's not even a flat tax. If the Torah said you should have a flat tax, which it does, by the way, when it comes to Peah, when it comes to Ani, when it comes to Meiser Ani, when it comes to Peah, when it comes to all these things, those are flat taxes. You understand? Mm-hmm. Torah says give Meiser, everybody gives 10%. It makes no difference if you're rich or poor. Everybody gives 10%. That's a flat tax, right? But Moxie's, the shekel, goes a step further, and it says the poor should pay the biggest part of this, right? That's the opposite of progressive tax. You will not find in the Torah a source for progressive tax. You will only find sources for flat tax and the opposite of progressive taxation, and the liberals have no source in Torah.
This is really interesting for me because we've got the chat working functionally. Yeah. People can hear it.
You're not supposed to pay attention to the chat.
If I'm making a point, okay. I'm not going to lose the point to pay attention to the chat. But I normally lead very segmented lives.
All right.
Like I do my show with you.
Okay.
And I go to my Alexander Technique training. I'll chat with Emma privately.
Yeah, it's too drafty. Thanks.
I'll hang out with Chaim and Malek. But now because the chat's working functionally and they hear everything we have to say, I suddenly have to negotiate all these conflicting relationships that I have that I normally don't have to negotiate. Like normally I lead segmented lives. Facebook helped me. Facebook and this chat are forcing me to integrate my life. Because normally I just have people in different segments of my life. Right. And I don't introduce people from different segments to each other. Like, and so I'm a totally different person with like my Orthodox friends as opposed to my porn friends, as opposed to my Alexander Technique friends and my journalism friends. And like, so I have all these different lives. And now I'm forced to integrate, and I'm forced to negotiate. Like Emma's a totally hot 21-year-old, smoking hot, and you're my co-host for about 7 months now, and Chaim Amalek's my best friend, and so these are the three significant relationships that I have going on here tonight, and because everything's working, and like if the sound wasn't working, I wouldn't get as much trouble, but because everything's working, now I've got to negotiate all these different relationships, and I've got to integrate my life, and I've got to stand up for what I believe in, and put priorities on things. Like I'm forced to like grow up and integrate my life and to stand for what I believe in.
You know what's going on in here? My friends want Emma out of that chat room.
Okay, well, interesting.
She's sitting there and she's like trashing it. Look at that. Ginger and Esther want Emma out. She's just like, Emma's come here and she's just like heckling me. You need to control your women, man.
Okay, I think Emma understands that she can't trash Rabbi Rabs, so she'll get the point. If she starts trashing you,
she's been trashing me.
I understand that, but I think she understands now that that's not okay.
Okay.
So,
because the only people that want her in is Chaim Amalek and you, right? My friends want her out.
Right.
And you know, she trashes me. I have no reason to stand up for her.
Okay.
And Emma needs to understand that this is a partnership.
This is a partnership.
This is not just like the Luke show.
Yeah.
You know, you need to know where you are, Emma. Okay, you need to settle down, and you need to know you're in our house. Okay, so you got a lot of nerve coming into our house and trashing the hosts. All right.
Okay, Emma, darling.
Okay, keep going.
Purpose of Jews is to bring knowledge of God and His moral demands to the world. Jews don't live up to this. There's no reason for Jews. Jews are an ad hoc committee to get something done. That's to bring
I
humanity
would
to
go a
God
step
in this
further.
Torah. Yeah.
I would say if the Jews don't have any, if the entire Jewish nation doesn't do what God wants it to do, right? They don't follow Torah. The entire nation. It's not that there's no reason for Jews. There's no reason for the purpose of the universe, and God could just say, "Forget it. This was a bad idea," and just obliterate the whole universe. Who needs it? The only thing He wants is that He created the whole universe so that Jews would follow the Torah. Jews don't want to follow Torah. There's no purpose for the universe, and you just erase the whole thing overnight.
Exodus chapter 30, verse 19. It's interesting how often in the Torah it says that people must wash their hands.
What do you think, we're OCD?
No, I think it's great. I like clean hands. I like clean people. I like people who are groomed and clean.
You gotta be. Was it? We said it. We sang it last week. Remember? You gotta be clean. You gotta be neat. You gotta be clean. Okay, keep going.
God seems so upset in the whole golden calf episodes.
Okay.
So it appears that God may not know the future. So if God does know the future, how can He get disappointed when it happens?
Well, because there's free choice. There's still free
But
will.
he already knows what's going to happen. So why does He get disappointed when the future arrives? He seems to lose his. God seems upset. It's not just like it comes as like a shock to him.
Okay, let me see if I can just I'm going to answer Balabatish.
Mm-hmm.
Do you ever watch the same movie more than once?
Mm-hmm.
Do you ever have emotional reaction the second time around?
Mm-hmm.
But you already know where it's going, but you still get scared when something happens.
Yeah.
So that's the answer. Okay, keep going.
Okay. What does karet mean, to be cut off from one's people?
Oh, good question. Can I answer that?
Yeah.
Okay, there's two answers to that. The Talmud tells us that there's two answers. Chorus, someone's chayav chorus, which means that it literally says cut off. There's two ways that can happen, and it depends on the severity of the crime.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the simple one is that the person doesn't have any kids, and the more strict one, I believe, is that the person dies an early death.
Yeah.
So I'm not having any kids.
Yeah.
So hey, maybe it's because I'm chayav chorus.
Right.
On the minor league way, and if I commit suicide this week, right?
Right.
And have an early death, so then I was chayav chorus on the high end. So then you have to try to figure out, what did I do wrong? I believe if you eat chametz on Pesach is one of those things you can be chayav chorus.
Mm-hmm.
That's chayav chorus. So you have to start looking. Maybe the guy ate. Maybe I had a Big Mac during Pesach. All right.
Jews are called a stiff-necked people. It's really important to free the neck. There are more joints in the neck than any other part of the body, so if the neck is stiff, the whole body will be stiff, and the stiff-necked person will go through life in a straitjacket of unnecessary tension. This will not only affect his movement and his comfort, but will contort his thinking and make it tend to lock up. Similarly, the stiff-necked person will be locked into all sorts of the habitual impulses that do not serve him. He will lack mental, emotional, and physical freedom, and his life will become increasingly miserable. As he ages, he is less able to accomplish the normal tasks of daily life. It is very hard for a stiff-necked person to be happy and free.
Is that your commercial?
And that's a word for Alexander technique.
You know what? What might be a thing for you?
Yeah.
Why don't you do like a weekly Alexander show, and you can preach it and all this stuff and whatever.
Well, I'll bring it in when I can. I might start dropping it in because I'm approaching my graduation point.
Oh, okay.
Where I can start taking on clients, and I'm a professional Alexander teacher. So the closer I get to that date, the more I'll be free about. Well, FM Alexander says.
Yeah, no, but you got to have a business card and make
right,
a website.
Yeah.
It's and this was brought to you, so you could flip over to it right now in the middle of the speech, and I'm available, Sunday through Thursday from 9 a.m. to 6, and here's my website, and I'll treat your neck, That's what you want right there. Boom.
Rabs, is it kind of like God has seen this happen before or just knows the patterns?
No, actually, he's seen it. Because he says